Now former Buccaneers offensive coordinator Liam Coen has now become the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, he met with the Jaguars a couple days ago and decided to take himself out of the running because Trent Baalke was there, the Jaguars GM. And then Khan came out and fired Baalke. And then Liam Coen put himself back in the running, accepted the job after verbally agreeing with the Buccaneers to become one of the highest paid offense coordinators in the NFL. Now, the Jaguars owner, Shad Khan, came out and said this today on hiring Liam Coen. To repeat my message earlier this week, I'm deeply committed to building a winner here in Jacksonville. I also believe in being judged by actions, not words. That's why I took swift and decisive action this week to hire Liam Coen as the new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I am pumped that Liam is accepting the challenge and opportunity to build a winner that Jaguars fans and partners deserve. I know our players feel the same. Now, Trevor Lawrence, he's your starting quarterback. You were banged up with injuries. Offensive line wasn't that great to begin with. Your running game was very lackluster and disappointing. You do have Brian Thomas Jr., though. He was actually one of the best wide receivers this season, and he was only a rookie. So my question to you is, this entire situation of going back and forth, saying yes to the Buccaneers after saying no to the Jaguars, and then turning around and saying yes to the Jaguars, no on the Buccaneers, do you have any problem with how this situation actually turned out?
I do. I do have problems with it. I think Shad Khan is, I don't think he should stay out of it. He should hire some professional people in the front office and let them run the show and pick these people. Him getting involved, I think, it leads to big mistakes, and I think this is potentially a big mistake. As you said, on Wednesday, Coen declined an in-person interview with the Jaguars and accepted a contract extension with the Bucs and a raise from the Bucs that would have made him the highest paid offensive coordinator. And guess how long he's been an offensive coordinator? One season with Baker Mayfield. He'd been the offensive coordinator. And, altogether, he has 5 years of experience. His prior 4 seasons were all with the Rams working under Sean McVay, which, that's not bad. Sean McVay, I think, is one of the best coaches in the league. But he didn't have that much experience, right? And here he does. He ghosts the Bucs, signs up for a contract, then finds out from the Jaguars that they're willing to fire Baalke, which is what he is holding over their heads. So he reconsidered the job after they fired him and took it right there. They talked him into it, got him over there. And one day he took the job. And I think he's got a very small body of work. I think he might have maybe he got lucky with Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, he had a good season. Well, Baker Mayfield is probably going to have a good season anyway. The guy is on the rebound. He had 41 TDs this year after 28 the prior year. Well, he had a new receiver there. That McMillan guy was very good. Mike Evans had another 1,000-yard season, so it's good wide receivers. He had another year of experience with those guys. The running game got better. Maybe you give Coen a little credit for that. I think their running game was 88 yards and 23. They got to 149. But again, they had the good rookie there, Bucky Irving. He came in there, and White, who was the experienced veteran, had a decent year. So it might not be all Cohen's doing. I don't know. His philosophy is the quarterback should never feel handcuffed at the line of scrimmage and always have solutions. Well, that's good. I hope that's true. Can he help Trevor Lawrence feel that way? I don't know. Trevor Lawrence been hurt a lot, hasn't played well, been a disappointment for the most part. I mean, despite one season where they snuck into the playoffs at the end and managed to upset the Chargers when they definitely should have lost that game. That's it. That's it for Trevor Lawrence. So, Coen, he's the reason that Baalke got fired. Baalke didn't do that bad a job, actually. He brought in Brian Thomas. He brought in those some other good defensive players too. His drafting has been reasonably decent. The coaching that's been crappy, and the offensive play of the quarterback has been lousy.
That's a bit of a hot take. Just gonna throw that out there. I think
But
it's a
he
little
was the
hot
front
take.
runner. He was the front runner after Johnson accepted the Bears job. Khan wanted a young, offensive-minded coach, and he got one. And Coen walked in with his limited experience and said, "Fire the GM, or I'm not coming." Went back, signed a big deal, saying he was going to stay with the Bucs. Then took off after they told him, "We'll fire the guy." Signed a deal, and now he's with them. So we'll see how he does.
My problem is be a man of your word. You initially took an interview with the Jaguars. It went well. You were one of their 3 finalists, ended up being one of their 2 finalists, you and Robert Saleh. Then, according to the report, you asked for more money. Then the contract that they offered you was relying upon you not taking the second interview with the Jaguars. You said, "Give me some time." They gave you the time. Then you came back. They offered you the contract, which would make you, the highest, or it was like $4.5 million for you to remain the OC with the Buccaneers. You verbally agree to it, and then you keep pushing back the time to actually sign the contract. Then you ghosted the Bucs. Then you told them at 5 p.m., with barely updating any information, saying that you're staying in Jacksonville because there was a family concern. But then you barely talked about the Jaguars. And then the next time the Bucs hear you, breaking news, you're now the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think it's not a good image for Liam Coen. And I think that it is, while yes, Baker Mayfield did have a pretty good season, Baker Mayfield had a very good season with Dave Canales, because I think going from the Browns to the Panthers, those are 2 unstable organizations. Now you go over to the Buccaneers that were just coming off of a massive, really good run with Tom Brady as their quarterback. So, feelings are high, morale is high. You come in, you have something to prove. You fly under the radar and perform extremely well. So they give you an extension. And he followed up with he had over 4,000 yards this season. So maybe this is Baker Mayfield rather than the OC, because Baker Mayfield now has done it with back-to-back offensive coordinators. And Liam Coen has had a couple stints. He had a stint with Los Angeles as the assistant wide receivers coach, and then the assistant quarterback coach. Then he went to Kentucky. Then he came back as the OC of the Rams. Then went back to Kentucky, and now became the OC of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And now he's the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that the way that this situation panned out proves that the Jaguars are one of the worst run organizations in the NFL. Because the report was instantly, as soon as you fired Doug Peterson, there was a report out instantly that incoming head coaching hires are discouraged that you kept Trent Baalke. They did not want him in the building, but you kept him for another 2.5 weeks, and all the good head coaches started to be picked off. Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, Mike Vrabel. The list kept going and going and going and going and going until you were left with what I'm calling kind of scraps. Because now, who you got? Mike McCarthy, Liam Coen, Deion Sanders, Jason Witten, Brian Schottenheimer, who's the Cowboys are only looking at, Kellen Moore, who I'm pretty sure the Cowboys are the only ones looking at. You're not exactly filling your team with qualified talent. And going off a 2-time offensive coordinator with 2 different stints in the NFL as the OC for 2 different teams, and now he's the head coach and expected to revive Trevor Lawrence, fix an offensive line, fix a running game, and fix a terrible defense, I find that a little bit hard to believe. So I don't think things will change drastically for Jacksonville. I think the way that Trevor Lawrence looked this year was shocking, and I think that Liam Coen, I don't think it's a great hire. And Tampa Bay is pissed. They are extremely upset about this entire situation.
They should be.
And this is over not a head coach, not an established head coach, over a one-time offensive coordinator with their franchise.
They would have been much better off to pick Robert Saleh.
Well,
right?
he's going back for the DC job with San Francisco.
Okay, but he was the finalist. They could have picked him. They could
still pick Mike McCarthy if they wanted to.
That's what I was going to say. In terms of you saying there's scraps out there, Mike McCarthy to me is not scraps. I think he would be would have been a great choice too, and he would have been more balanced offense defense.
Maybe
Saleh is a defensive guy, but the Jaguars defense is horrible this year.
Yeah.
Right? It was horrible. This guy, Coen, isn't going to fix that.
Second worst in the NFL.
He isn't going to fix that. They hired him exclusively because of Trevor Lawrence, who they gave the over $50 million contract.
$55 million per year.
$55 million per year. They overpaid him, and he underperformed big time, and he's hurt. He gets hurt a lot now.
Yeah.
So I write them off. I mean, we could go through their list. I wouldn't give them more than.
You want to do it?
Yeah, sure.
Let's
do
go
that.
through it. Why not? So the Jacksonville Jaguars, and again, the schedules aren't released. These are just the future opponents that they're going to go up against in 2025.
Uh-huh.
So here we go. 2025 opponents start with at Cardinals,
Loss.
at Bengals,
Loss.
at Denver,
Loss.
at Houston,
Loss.
at Indy,
I think that's a loss.
versus Houston,
Versus Houston. I think that's a loss.
versus Indy,
I'll give them a win on that one.
versus Tennessee,
Win.
versus Chiefs,
Loss.
versus Chargers,
Loss.
versus Rams,
Loss.
versus Seattle,
Loss.
versus Jets. Whatever
I
it
don't
is
know
here.
what I had. I think I had loss.
Versus
No,
Carolina.
I think I had win for that one.
Versus Carolina.
Versus Carolina, I'd say that one is a loss.
At Raiders.
I think that's a loss.
At San Francisco.
Loss.
At Tennessee.
Win.
I think you got 3 wins there.
1, 2,
4.
3.
You have 4 wins.
4 wins.
4 wins.
Yep.
Which would put them exactly in the same position that you have them right now.
4 and 13. Yep.
You have
They're
them
not
in the
gonna
exact
improve.
same position.
They ain't going to improve. They're not going to improve with this guy. He's never been a head coach. He only has 5 years of NFL experience, all with one team. Oh, well, 2 teams. So he had 1 year with the Bucs.
He had 2 different stints with Los Angeles, and this was his first stint with Tampa Bay. Now, currently, Jacksonville is the 5th overall
I think the
pick.
Bucs offense is more about Baker Mayfield and
I
those
agree with
skill
you.
players than it was about this Coen guy.
I completely agree with you,
Yeah.
100%. And I
And
think
I understand why the Bucs are pissed. They're probably happy he's gone now.
Oh, I would completely agree. You know, being ghosted, and then not only that, Coen saying, "Well, hold on, how about the next day?" And then I could do it by the next morning, and then halfway through the day, he's like, "Okay, give me the next day," and then the next day, while he's chilling in Jacksonville, ghosting the organization that just put you on the map, that allowed you to be the next head coach of the Jaguars ultimately, and then out of nowhere, you become the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I would 100% be pissed too. Hi, everybody. Thank you for watching this clip of the Harvey Hour. If you want to watch the full show, you can by clicking the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to take the show with you on the go, it is available wherever you get your podcast. We go live here on YouTube every single Tuesday and Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification bell to get notified whenever we upload a video and whenever we go live.